I want to say, no disrespect. Thank you to my man, Jorge. Hey, you elevated me. You made me have to. It's been a while since I've been extremely nervous for fights, but he elevated me. He made me go to the workshop, and I had to sharpen up my tools and come out here and put on a performance like that. I told everybody I'm still getting better.
First time in my career, and it's in front of all my people, my family, my friends, so it hurts. I've never been knocked out in 50 pro fights. Usman showed me something that he didn't show the first fight. I didn't feel his power, and that's what happens when you get overconfident, man. I thought we were going to wrestle more. I was ready to wrestle 25 minutes. All the props to him in the world. He caught me by surprise. He's got my number, man, and nothing I can say, but he won this fair and square, and God bless him, man.
All right, what is going on, people? It's the TBK podcast. Today we got myself, Rash. We got LL. So first off, I'm just going to say, bro, I don't even know why this rematch was happening. Do you know what I'm saying? I wanted to talk about this in the prediction. I just didn't think Jorge deserved the rematch. I think there was better fighters that Usman could have fought, but he got the rematch. He got what he wanted, and boy, sometimes you just got to be careful what you wish for, innit?
You got to be careful what you ask for, bro. hey, listen, yeah. Like, it's so funny because before they were stepping into the ring, the commentators were talking like, we've never ever seen Jorge in trouble. He's been very efficient in the UFC, yada yada yada.
Bro, total wipeout. That's what it was.
Hey, listen, yeah, and it's like in the build up to the fight, he was kind of bragging, saying like, he never felt Usman's power. He ain't got no. And he's the first man to knock you out like that. Sorry, bro. Like, I know he's gonna start. Like, I just changed it, yeah. But it's like when he started, you know what I've noticed, yeah? With Kamaru Usman, I was when I first got onto him, I was like very indifferent to him.
Yeah.
When he went up against Tyron Woodley, it's like, because Woodley was, he was like, the reigning champion, I was kind of rooting for Woodley.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was indifferent to it. But since I've watched like his last, say, 2-3 fights with Burns and with Covington, I realized going into this fight here, I've always liked Masvidal. I think he's pretty cool. I think he's like, I like his energy anyway. His energy is like, he don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like the 2001 Nate Diaz. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 1000%.
You know what I mean? But then I realized as they were walking into the ring, as the announcers was, as the announcing the names and the records and stuff, I realized I am now invested in Kamaru Usman. Because I thought I would have been rooting for Masvidal, but it's like I was rooting for Kamaru Usman. It's like I wanted to see this guy. I wanted to see how dominant this guy can actually be in the UFC. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And when it first came out, Usman does what he always does. He tried to remain calm. He tried to remain composed. He tried to work his jab. He was working his jab upstairs and downstairs. And I was he hit Masvidal with a few good clean shots.
Right hands. Yeah.
Even he scored a takedown as well towards the end of the round. But I was a bit worried because Masvidal was hitting him in them leg kicks. And
yeah.
Usman wasn't really doing much to kind of check them. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? He was. He pretty much got hit with every leg kick that Masvidal threw. And I thought to myself, okay, remember, I'm not even thinking Masvidal getting knocked out. I'm thinking this is guy in the full five. And I'm thinking, okay, Usman, by the time you get to the third round, you're going to have a problem with the legs.
Yeah, with the legs, yeah.
But then, he just rewrote the script and...
Yeah, he had different plans, bro. He was like, third round? Like, what?
What third round?
Yeah. I think I'm like you. I didn't expect a knockout like that, especially not like that. But I just expected a full 5-round dominance from him. But I think his striking has just improved. He still swings a little bit in segments of the fight. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he does look a bit sloppy, but his straight punches are so crispy, bruv. Like you see it with Burns, you see it with Colby as well. Like that right hand that he broke his jaw with, bruv, that was textbook right hand. You know what I'm saying? So he's only getting better. So it's like you say now, he's lapping everyone now because he's beaten. I think the only guys in the top 10 he hasn't beaten is Mangi and what's his face, Wonderboy. And obviously he'll probably beat those guys. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think there's the only person that's going to come close to beating him. As much as I dislike him, is Kobe.
Yeah. You know what? I wanted to say the same thing because as we started, you said that you didn't actually think that Masvidal done enough to deserve a rematch. And it's like with the Covington fight, you know, regardless of what you think about Covington, you know, his political views and how he promotes himself or whatever, the guy can fight, man. He can fight. Yeah, he can fight, man. And I've never seen, regardless of how that fight ended, I haven't seen anyone else push Usman like that.
No, you haven't.
Do you know what I'm saying? I haven't seen anyone else push him like that. But at the same time, Usman's improving so much. He probably do a better job on Kobe this time.
I fucking hope so, bro.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like just do it conclusively. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think Covington does. He's the one that deserves the shot right now.
Absolutely. I think there's only Covington and maybe Leon, but Leon's fighting Nate in May, innit? So I think Covington's going to get a shot, then Leon will probably get the winner. But then there's, again, after that, it's like, who does he fight? Does he fight fucking Chimaev? Like, Chimaev needs to come back and actually beat some people. He was going on like a mad run and then COVID kind of took him out. But apparently he's coming back. So, and then I heard Chimaev was talking smoky, bro. Chimaev was saying he'll beat Usman, Izzy and Jan on the same night, bro. Imagine.
Wow.
I'm thinking, bro, you won't even get past Usman at this rate.
All these guys, are asking for all this smoke, It's like, what I'm seeing Usman doing right now, it's like, he might give all these guys what they want. He doesn't strike me as someone who wants to pick and choose his fights and like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, don't get me wrong, like certain fighters have kind of earned it, right? But it's Usman, he seems like he's one of them guys that wants to establish some dominance and wants to establish himself as the best in the UFC. He's got fire in his belly. And I like that about him. I like his attitude, man.
And last point as well. So do you think he's pound for pound number one in the UFC now?
Pound for pound number one in the UFC. What? And that's not including John Jones?
But yeah, you can include John Jones if you want.
Like, I can't rate no one above John Jones. John Jones has been doing it.
The only reason I can kind of have him above John Jones right now is just because John Jones has been on a hiatus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He arguably lost his last fight as well, but you know that's a whole different debate. Usman's been active as fuck.
Sorry, John Jones didn't lose his last fight, but
that's a whole different debate, innit? But like he's been active as fuck. He's been very active. The only thing he really has to do is move up, but he's not going to move up when him and Izzy are like are proper brethren and that. Do you know what I'm saying? So he's just been, like you said, all he's got to do now is just spin the block, innit? Like run back a couple fights.
Yeah,
I think he might even surpass GSP. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, he's definitely in the pound for pound conversation.
Yeah.
But you know what it is? Yeah, I'm not saying he's not. I just want to see more of him. Yeah, and we've seen a lot of him. We've seen a lot of him, and he's been very dominant. But the thing is with John Jones, like John Jones hasn't fought, you know, in a minute. But John Jones has dominated for so many years.
Yeah.
It's like, I need to see someone dominate on that level. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? But don't get me wrong, like Usman is the guy right now. He's the guy right now. He's the guy. And I say that above John Jones until John Jones comes back. You know, Usman's definitely the guy right now, man.
1,000%. Well, people, this has been the TBK podcast. UFC 2, I keep forgetting it. UFC 261 was lit yesterday. But tune into our next podcast and everything, man. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Hit up the Instagram, hit up the Facebook, hit up the Twitter, everything, man. Like, we're taking over, alright?
And this is the TBK podcast.